when it comes to males and females, when it comes to exercise, how do they have to look at things differently or do they?
No, no, there's no difference. The differences are on an individual level, but there's no like men do this and women do that. Our bodies adapt the same. Of course, the capacity for strength and muscle is much higher in men. There's a lot of reasons for that. One of them being the hormones, but there's lots of other reasons for that. Like you could take the testosterone out of a man and he's going to probably build more strength and muscle than a woman would anyway. But aside from that, there's no difference. I mean, marketing, so you're going to see routines for women and men, but that's because they know that it's effective marketing. But there's no difference at all. It's all on the individual. So whatever works better for you and how you move and the mobility issues you may have and your lifestyle, that's what you should pay attention to. Don't pay attention to. I'll say this. Look, I'll say this. Avoid, if you're a woman watching and listening to this right now, avoid workout routines that are designed for women, because all they did was take an effective routine and water it the hell down and probably colored it with some, feminine color and marketing to make it appeal to women. But what they typically do is they'll take an effective workout, make it easier, make it lighter, make you do 1,000,000 more reps, and then they say, here it is for women. So that's kind of a rule of thumb. Like workouts designed for women are usually worse than just normal workouts.
All right, so you just smashed one of the big myths there when it comes to resistance training between males and females. What are some of the other ones? You've been in this world for longer than longer than most people, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of the different myths and probably even believed and applied some of them over the years. What are some of the things people are doing that are just total BS that they need to ignore?
Yeah, you can't. Your muscle shape is determined largely by your genetics. There aren't exercises that give you long, lean muscles versus others that develop big, bulky muscles or anything like that. Muscles build or shrink. Your genetics determine largely their shape, aside from the large muscle groups where targeted exercises develop different parts. For example, the chest, that could develop the upper chest more than lower chest, vice versa. But for the most part, it's your genetics. And muscles build or shrink. They don't tone, they don't sculpt. They build, or they shrink. Another myth is that, strength training is going to produce a bulky look in women. No, that's not what's going to happen. Building muscle is very dense. If every woman watching this right now gained 10 pounds of muscle and simultaneously lost 10 pounds of fat, so their weight was the same on the scale, they would be smaller. They would look smaller, much smaller, but they would lose about a quarter of the size on their body because fat takes up more space. So the whole fear of like, oh no, I'm going to work out with weights and then I'm going to look like Arnold, that's not the case at all.
What about the thought that if you do certain workouts, you can burn fat in different areas?
No.
Say, like the double chin or the tummy, targeting different areas of fat burning.
You can target development, like I'm going to develop my shoulders, I'm going to develop my bicep, I'm going to develop my hamstrings, but you can't target fat. Fat loss is determined by genetics and hormones. Hormonal changes can change fat storage patterns a bit. Like higher cortisol, more insulin resistance can cause more fat storage in the midsection. But that and genetics are what determine where you store. So good rule of thumb is the first place you put it on, people are like, oh my God, I eat bad. And it's like right away I feel it in my belly or my hips or whatever. The first place you put it on is the last place you'll lose it. And you can either thank or curse your parents for that. There's not much you can do other than just get leaner overall.
If you enjoyed that clip, press here for the full episode. I'll see you over there.
The default is going to be you're going to be obese. You're probably going to develop diabetes and you're not going to feel very good. And that's just the way it is. And you have to step outside of that in order to change things. Muscle is so protective, in fact, that is